a medical job website guide at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine/employment and dmoz-odp.org/business/healthcare/employment. Chapter 1. Medical job websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine/employment. Medical profession websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine. Subcategories: medical specialties, surgery, directories, education, employment, facilities, history, journals, medical legal services, organizations, personal pages, professional chats and forums, reference, research, alternative medicine, basic sciences, dentistry, evidence-based medicine, humor, imaging, informatics, osteopathy, pharmacology, philosophy of medicine. MedJob websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine/employment/recruitment_and_staffing. DocCafe.com, DocCafe.com, searchable listings of physician and dentist jobs in the United States. EdPhysician.com, EdPhysician.com, classified advertising for emergency physician jobs. OBGYNcareer.com, OBGYNcareer.com, jobs and employment resources for OB/GYNs, GYNs and other healthcare personnel in obstetrics and gynecology careers. OPHThalJobs.com, OPhthalJobs, ophthalmology job board with resume and job posting. Med recruitment job and staffing websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine/employment/recruitment_and_staffing. AdventAssociates.com, Advent Associates Incorporated, provides physician recruitment services across the United States in all medical specialties with particular expertise in oncology, cardiology, and radiology. AMDCon.com, American Medical Consultants Incorporated, physician recruitment company offering practice opportunities, listed at the site, throughout the U.S. ApolloMD.com, ApolloMD, providing emergency physicians and anesthesiologists to hospitals and health centers. CanAmRecruiting.com, Canam Physician Recruiting Inc., interactive web database where physicians worldwide are matched to locum and/or permanent placement opportunities. CatalinaRecruiters.com, Catalina Medical Recruiters, physician recruiters, and locum-tenens staffing of all medical specialties. CelesteTabriz.com, Office of Celeste Tabriz, a physician consulting firm specializing in U.S. placements for immigrating practitioners. CorrectCareInc.com, Correct Care Incorporated, currently provides physician staffing for 24-hour coverage or simply to cover weekends to hospitals and clinics throughout Louisiana, Arkansas, and Alabama. DanielStern.com, Daniel Stern and Associates, provides details of specialties, services, and client list. DocJobsOnline.com, coast-to-coast placements, nationwide physician job placement and recruitment services. DrSaveTime.com. DYStaffing.com, Daniel and Yeager, national recruiting and staffing firm. E-H-L.com, EHL, a consulting firm offering recruitment, retention, and training for healthcare facilities. EMDHire.com, Methir, a physician recruitment firm for neurosurgeons and neurologists with an online database of jobs. EMSIOnline.com, EMSI, nationwide physician staffing and recruitment services for opportunities with hospitals and groups. EnterpriseMed.com, Enterprise Medical Services, physician recruitment and retention programs in North America. FastGas.com, Bay Area Anesthesia Incorporated, locums for anesthesiologists and CRNAs who respond in emergencies, vacation, sick leave, and permanent placement. GenevaHealth.com, Geneva Healthcare, a recruitment and staffing consultancy catering exclusively for the nursing and medical sectors internationally. GMedical.com, global medical staffing, international and domestic physician recruitment firm for positions in Australia, New Zealand, the Caribbean, and the US. Guterm.com, Gutermouth Medical Services, a contingency-based physician recruiter for clients who have multiple recruiting needs and a guaranteed retainer program for need-to-fill searches. Dmoz-Odp, Heyman Doherty Associates, a firm placing physicians in permanent positions nationwide. Health-care-recruiting.com, healthcare recruiting, specialists in permanent nationwide physician placement representing all medical specialties. Healthcareaustralia.com.au/LML-medical-recruitment, LML medical recruitment and locum positions for doctors throughout Australia, the Pacific and in the UK. Hospitalist.com, IPC, providing hospitalist physicians to healthcare organizations. Jobsphysicians.com, Oberto and Associates, specializes in the recruitment and placement of physicians for the West Coast and Pacific Northwest. JSMG.com, JS Medical Group, physician recruitment firm for nationwide opportunities. KendallAndDavis.com, Kendall and Davis, specializes in the permanent placement of physicians in solo and group practice opportunities, hospital-based positions or faculty appointments nationwide. LindaHC.com, Linda Healthcare, placement of locum tenens physicians nationwide. LOCUmotion.com, Locomotion, medical recruitment and education services company, education and career planning service for health professionals for the UK, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. Marshgroup.com, Marsh Group, provides physician recruitment services for opportunities throughout the United States. MDOpenings.com, Lam Associates, employer-paid physician recruiting agency placing full-time and locum tenens positions in Hawaii and the U.S. MDOps.org, MD Opportunities, finding employment for qualified immigrating medical professionals in underserved U.S. communities. MDR-Inc.com, MD Resources Incorporated, physician recruiting and placement firm. MDRsearch.com, MDR Associates, a national permanent placement physician search firm. MDspots.com, MDspots.com, employment opportunities for practicing physicians, residents, and fellows with hospitals and private practices, requires registration to view jobs. MedcareStaffing.com, Medcare Staffing Inc., placement agency helps medical facilities nationwide in the placement of physicians of all specialties. MedicorpInc.com, Medicorp, Inc., a recruitment firm offering physician recruitment and retention services. MedicusRG.com, Medicus Resource Group, specialists in nationwide medical recruitment and placement services for physicians and residents. MedlinkStaffing.com, Medlink Staffing Incorporated, locum tenens recruiting and staffing of specialists. MedSourceConsultants.com, MedSource Consultants, nationwide searches for specialist opportunities. MedStafflt.com, MedStaff National Medical Staffing Incorporated, a physician locum tenens that focuses on physicians who specialize in emergency medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology and primary care. MedSuccess.com, MedSuccess, provides physician placement services and CV presentation. NationwideAnesthesia.com, Nationwide Anesthesia Network Incorporated, specializes in locum tenens and permanent placement of anesthesia professionals nationwide. NCHCR.com, National Coalition of Healthcare Recruiters, recruitment firm for physicians. Obonly.com, Obonly.com, specializes in the nationwide recruitment and placement of obstetricians and gynecologists. OlesKY.com, Oleski Associates Incorporated, physician recruiters with opportunities nationwide in all specialties. PantherEnterprises.com, Panther Enterprises, recruiting and placement for hospitals, clinics, practices for physicians in the Pacific Northwest. PHG.com, Pinnacle Health Group, hundreds of physician opportunities throughout the country. PhysicianFinders.com, Physician Finders, employment agency for physicians. PhysicianRecruiting.com, Kurari Group Inc., physician recruitment firm offering information and opportunity descriptions for employment in numerous fields of medicine. PhysicianResources.com, Physician Resources Incorporated, a physician permanent and locum tenens recruitment agency. PhysiciansCanada.net, Physicians Canada, recruitment firm placing physicians in all specialties in underserviced areas in Canada. PhysicianSolutions.com, Physician Solutions Incorporated, national locum tenens, permanent placement of physicians and healthcare professionals. PlacementUSA.com, Placement USA, physician placement and medical staffing. PlasticSurgeryPartnerships.com, Downing Associates Incorporated, recruitment firm specializing in cosmetic and plastic surgeons. PracticeWiseMD.com, PracticeWiseMD, physician recruitment firm with searchable database of opportunities available. RecruitPhysicians.com, Medical Recruitment Associates Incorporated, recruitment firm for physicians with opportunities listed. RMMedicalSearch.com, RM Medical Search, physician search firm specializing in Intermountain West and Upper Midwest. Source-medical.net, Source Medical, physician recruiting for locum tenens and permanent placement positions. SoutheastPhysicianSearch.com, Southeast Physician Search, based in Georgia and offering services to individuals and facilities. TheMHG.com, Martin Healthcare Group, provides creative solutions in contracted professional medical services in healthcare. TheOkaneGroup.com, The Okane Group, physician recruitment and placement specialists for Northwest USA. STJohnJobs.com, St. John Associates, a national physician placement firm, representing practice opportunities in all specialties. SunbeltMGT.com, Sunbelt Management Associates, an employer-paid, nationwide physician search firm. SusanCraig.com, Susan Craig Associates, recruiting firm working with practitioners migrating to Canada. TeamHealth.com, Team Health, a firm providing hospitalists for physician management and staffing in emergency medicine, radiology, anesthesia, critical care, and pediatrics. TopDocs.net, TopDocs, Inc., providing permanent and locum tenens placement of physicians in a wide array of specialties. Med recruitment websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medicine/employment/recruitment_and_staffing/recruiters. ChekaZarch.com, Cheka Search, providing employment services for physicians, specialists, and managers. NHPartners.com, National Health Partners and Resources, specializes in the recruitment of physicians for all medical specialties nationwide. PracticeWiseMD.com, PracticeWiseMD, Inc., a national physician recruiting and healthcare consulting firm. TrapaniAssociates.com, Trapani and Associates, physician search firm specializing in career opportunities nationwide for physicians. VantageZarchGroup.com, Vantage Search Group, physician recruitment of doctors in all medical specialties. Acumen-nurses.com, Acumen Medical Staffing, staffs medical professionals to per diem, temp to perm, and travel nurse assignments. Radiology job websites at dmoz-odp.org/health/medical_specialties/radiology/employment. Careers.rsna.org, RSNA Career Connection, publishes a radiology salary survey, as well as news on industry developments. jwhealth.com.au, Julie Warner Health, places radiologists, radiographers, sonographers, nuclear medicine technologists and radiation therapists into locum and permanent positions throughout Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom and the UAE. RadSciences.com, Rad Sciences Group, specialists in the permanent placement of radiology professionals. Ultrasoundjobs.com, Ultrasoundjobs.com, finding positions for professionals in diagnostic sonography and vascular technology. Emergency health jobs at dmoz-odp.org/health/public_health_and_safety/emergency_services/employment. allexperts.com/browse.cgi cat lvl =3 cat ID =1532, Allexperts Firefighters Career Q&A. FireCareerAssist.com, Fire Career Assistance, job notification services for firefighters, paramedics, and EMT employment. pjpinfo.com/ffa.htm, Firefighter Career, offers for sale fire department addresses and hiring information, trial exams. Chapter 2. Medical job websites at dmoz-odp.org/business/healthcare/employment. Healthcare employment websites. Beck-field.com, Beckfield and Associates, healthcare and executive search firm offering physician, nurse, and allied health positions across the USA. penpjobs.com, Smith and Associates, professional recruitment and placement of physician assistants, pharmacists, and nurse practitioners. pulsejobs.com, Pulse International, recruitment agency for health and social care workers with offices in Middle East, North America, Oceania, and UK. Canada medical job websites. Dentaljobs.ca, Dental Jobs in Canada, lists opportunities for dentists, dental hygienists, certified dental assistants and other dental personnel, as well as people seeking new jobs in Canadian dentistry. vch.ca/careers, Vancouver Coastal Health Careers, VCH offers nursing, clinical, administrative and trades employment in a full range of healthcare jobs in Vancouver, North Vancouver, West Vancouver, Richmond, and the coastal mountain communities of British Columbia. UK healthcare job websites. acute-medical.co.uk, Acute Medical, specialise in the recruitment and placement of long-term psychiatric locums. capem.com, Cape Medical Services, a medical recruitment agency offering resident medical officer posts in the private sector. clinicalacademicjobs.org, Clinical Academic Jobs, job postings for clinical academic jobs in dental and medical schools. dentaljobsfinder.co.uk, Dental Jobs Finder, search vacancies with the dental profession. dentalmove.com, Dental Move, find employment opportunities for dentists and other dental personnel. drcvs.com, Medico International, offers to write CVS and application forms for doctors wishing to apply for all grades of vacant posts in the NHS and GP practices. mrecruitment.co.uk, mrecruitment, a full-service agency. findacarecareer.com, Find a Care Career, searchable directory of employment vacancies in health and social care. guidedsolutions.co.uk, Guided Solutions, medical recruitment specialists for sales, marketing, engineers, applications specialists, and trainers. healthandsafety-jobs.co.uk, Health and Safety Jobs, database of vacancies within health and safety. healthjobsuk.com, Health Jobs UK, searchable database of vacancies for nurses, doctors, healthcare scientists and therapists. jobs.nhs.uk, NHS Jobs, online recruitment service for the NHS. medicalforum.com, Medical Forum, career coaching for medical professionals. news.bbc.co.uk/1/high/in_depth/business/work_childcare, BBC, childcare, careers advice on a range of fields from the BBC. onlinelocum.co.uk, online locum, locates locum doctors for the National Health Service. pharmafield.co.uk/jobs, pharmajobs, listing of pharmaceutical and medical sales jobs, careers advice, and news. pharmafield.co.uk, Pharmafield Magazine, magazine for medical sales and pharmaceutical industry. phoenixmed.co.uk, Phoenix Healthcare and Recruitment Services, basic details of recruitment and medical repatriation services from Aylesbury-based agency. pearsmeadows.co.uk, Pears Meadows, specialist recruitment consultancy for occupational therapists and physiotherapists. pulsejobs.com, Pulse, listing of doctors' job vacancies. safetyjobboard.com, safetyjobboard.com, database of vacancies within health and safety. ukfarm.com, ukfarm.com, offers pharmaceutical industry and NHS vacancy list. vacancyMGT.com, vacancy management company, specialise in filling temporary and interim cover positions in management. zenith-recruitment.co.uk, Zenith Recruitment, medical and healthcare recruitment agency. Chapter 3. Doctor job websites. Medical job search websites. ahipcareersource.org, AHIP Career Source, employment website designed for healthcare industry workers. 3rnet.org, Rural Recruitment and Retention Network, a not-for-profit organization of 46 states who place health professionals primarily in rural and underserved practices. allhealthcarejobs.com, All Healthcare Jobs, offering a database for clinicians, pharmacists, technologists, and medical sales personnel. alliedhealthcareers.com, alliedhealthcareers.com, job board for allied health careers. careerfarm.com, careerfarm, a resource for pharmacists interested in finding quality jobs, residencies, or fellowships. careerscene.com, careerscene, listing of jobs available in the UK in biomedical science and laboratory medicine. diversityconnection.org, Institute for Diversity in Health Management, matching employers with qualified minority candidates in healthcare management. gastrocareer.com, gastrocareer.com, jobs and employment resources for gastroenterologists and other healthcare personnel in gastroenterology. gaswork.com, gaswork.com, employment resource for anesthesiologists, CRNAs, anesthesiology assistants, and technicians. healthcarejobboards.com, healthcarejobboards, provides searchable listings for nurses, therapists and pharmaceutical representatives. healthcaresource.com, healthcare source, career opportunities in the healthcare industry. healthycareers.com, Health eCareers Network, job postings for administration, operations, allied health, dental, nursing, pharmaceutical and physician or doctor specialties. hipjobs.net, hipjobs.net, Inc., provides job listings and candidate employment search resources for the healthcare industry. medicalstaffrecruiters.com, medical staff recruiters, physician, nurse, and allied jobs submitted only by in-house medical staff recruiters of hospitals, clinics and practices nationwide. medicalworkers.com, medical workers, allows healthcare professionals to search for jobs in nursing, medicine and healthcare and post resumes. medicats.com, medicats.com, career website specializing in jobs within the medical community. medops.com, medops.com, employment website for healthcare and medical professionals. mentalhealthcareers.com, mentalhealthcareers.com, an internet job board serving the mental health industry. practicelink.com, practicelink, practice opportunities and recruiting for physicians, nurses and allied health. practicematch.com, practicematch, Inc., job board for all healthcare practitioners and physician data, lists, profiles, CV, information, mailing lists and practice opportunities. prohealthjobs.com, ProHealth Services, listings for allied health and nursing positions, continuing education seminars and healthcare products. ptjobs.com, ptjobs.com, listings for the physical therapy community. rehabcareer.com, rehabcareer.com, therapists search and find physical, occupational and speech therapy jobs throughout the country. rehabworld.com, rehabworld, physical, occupational, speech and mental health jobs and resumes posting. team24.co.uk, Team24 Recruitment, provides general practitioners and specialist nurses to healthcare establishments on an agency basis. yourworldrecruitment.com, Your World Recruitment, medical recruitment agency for dentists, doctors, GPS, pharmaceutical and other medical jobs in the UK. Doctor job websites. doccafe.com, doccafe.com, Searchable listings of physician and dentist jobs in the United States. edphysician.com, edphysician.com, classified advertising for emergency physician jobs. obgyncareer.com, obgyncareer.com, jobs and employment resources for OB/GYNs, GYNs and other healthcare personnel in obstetrics and gynecology careers. ophthaljobs.com, ophthaljobs, ophthalmology job board with resume and job posting. Recruitment and staffing medical job websites. adkisonconsultants.com, Adkison Consultants, recruitment firm with searchable database of opportunities for physicians, healthcare executives, and administrators and allied health professionals. alliedphysicians.com, Allied Physicians, recruitment firm for physicians, nursing and pharmacy positions. americantraveler.com, American Traveler staffing professionals, offers travel nursing jobs for nurses and allied health professionals. barentmedical.com, a Barent Medical Associates, Inc., a physician and mid-level practitioner recruitment firm. carsonkolb.com, Carson Kolb, provides recruitment and consulting services for healthcare professionals and organizations nationwide. comphealth.com, CompHealth, offers temporary and permanent placement of physicians, allied health professionals, pharmacists, nurses and managers. coremedicalgroup.com, Core Medical Group, National Nurse and Allied Health Travel Employment Agency. corporatehealthgroup.com, Corporate Health Group, healthcare recruiting firm offering resources and articles on recruiting. corpsearch.com, Corporate Search Consultants Inc., recruitment firm for healthcare jobs in radiology, nursing, information management and pharmacies for employment in hospitals and medical institutions. er-1.org, ER1, Inc., Emergency Medicine Management Group staffing for physicians, nurses and physicians' assistants. fortusgroup.com, the Fortis Group, recruiting for dialysis, nephrology, and nursing professionals. giotinjobs.com, ESA Medical Resources, a medical recruiting firm for bariatric surgery job opportunities and other physician and nurse specialties. guardianhealthcare.com, Guardian Healthcare Providers Incorporated, a national staffing firm providing per diem, contract, travel, temp to hire and permanent placement services for nursing and allied healthcare professionals. healthcareconcepts.com, Healthcare Concepts, healthcare consulting services and executive recruitment. healthcarezeeker.com, healthcarezeeker.com, firm placing travel and locum nurses and allied healthcare professionals in the U.S. homesteadrecruiters.com, Homestead Recruiters, Inc., helping find medical personnel permanent and locum jobs throughout the U.S., specializing in the Rocky Mountain regions. hospicechoices.com, Hospice Choices, a firm specializing in hospice employment opportunities. iqform.com, Quality Medical Professionals, recruiting and staffing all medical and allied healthcare personnel nationwide. levisoncrch.com, Levison Search, a placement and consulting firm for physicians, executives and managers. liquidagents.com, Liquid Agents, a recruitment firm for the nurses and allied health professionals. locum-tenens.com, Locum Tenens, temporary placement for physicians, nurses and healthcare professionals. madisonmiles.com, Madison Miles Physician Search, recruits physicians for practice opportunities in all 50 states and in all medical specialties. mashhealthcare.com, MASH Nursing and Allied Healthcare Staffing, provide nurses and allied healthcare professionals on a temporary, contract, travel and permanent placement basis across the U.S. mdainc.com, Medical Doctor Associates, provides staffing and services to the healthcare industry. medical-search.biz, Medical Search, a recruitment company for physicians, physician assistants, nurses and case managers. medijobs.com, Medijobs Australia, specialist medical recruitment website for Australia. medworking.com, Medworking, provides opportunities and recruitment for the fields of radiology and cardiology. mepcointernational.com, Mepco International, an international healthcare placement company for nurses from India to obtain CGFNS certification and jobs in Middle East, UK, and USA. msnhealth.com, Medical Staffing Network Incorporated, provides supplemental healthcare personnel, nurses, paraprofessionals and allied support services to healthcare facilities nationwide. NAPAR.org, National Association of Physician Recruiters, membership organization consisting of physician recruiting firms, hospitals, medical groups, individuals and vendor organizations. NationalAnesthesia.com, National Anesthesia Services Incorporated, a firm specializing in anesthesia staffing, locum tenens and permanent placements. NoviceMedical.com, Novice Medical, LLC, providing locum tenens and permanent placement of physicians, physician assistants, certified registered nurse anesthetists and nurse practitioners nationwide. NWAnesthesia.com, Nationwide Anesthesia Services Incorporated, a full-service staffing agency for CRNAs and MDAs, with permanent and locum tenens jobs throughout the U.S. OnwardHealthcare.com, Onward Healthcare, travel jobs, per diem jobs and permanent jobs for nursing, allied health and physicians. Pediastaff.com, Pediastaff, specializes in the staffing and recruitment of pediatric and school-based physical therapists, occupational therapists and speech-language pathologists. ProTouchStaffing.com, ProTouch Staffing, per diem and permanent staffing for nursing and allied health. PROVDoc.com, Providence Healthcare Group, a nationwide physician and allied health recruiting firm. SelectProfessional.com, Select Incorporated, a nationwide physician and nurse recruitment firm for anesthesiology, cardiology, OBGYN, orthopedics, dermatology, gastroenterology, and pulmonology. SpecialCommunications.com, Special Communications, LLC, placing allied health professionals in therapeutic sites such as school systems, developmental disabilities, and early intervention settings. SupplementalHealthcare.com, Supplemental Healthcare, placing RNs, LVNs, CNAs, therapists and technicians nationwide with travel contracts, per diem, or permanent placement positions. TeamPlace.com, Team Placement Service Inc., a recruitment service for healthcare professionals. TheFirstString.com, The First String, healthcare recruiting firm. TheJagGroup.com, The Jag Group, Inc., specializing in the placement of permanent healthcare and technology professionals in the Southeast. Tracy'sWig.com, Tracy's Wig Associates, locum tenens and permanent placement of physicians, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants. TravelCare.com, TravelCare Inc., travel and permanent opportunities for nurses and healthcare professionals. TrilliumHR.com, Trillium Talent Resource Incorporated, international recruiting firm focusing on healthcare, management, and technology staffing and having a database of both candidates and clients across Canada, the USA and UK, the Philippines, and India. VistaStaff.com, Vista Staffing Solutions, providing temporary physician services and physician recruitment services nationwide. WashingtonHealthcareCareers.com, Washington Healthcare Careers, jobs for nurses and allied health professionals. Staffing websites 1. bsmith.com, in healthcare executive and managerial placement and interim management services. AlexConsult.com, Gerard Alexander Consulting, search firm in medical communication, medical education, and healthcare advertising. AngelFire.com/nc/medstaff, Eric Jackson and Associates, medical recruitment firm for physicians, dentists, pharmacists, nurses and psychiatrists. BarrowGlobal.com, Barrow Global Search, a recruitment firm for healthcare professionals, throughout the U.S. and internationally. BaumanAndAssociates.com, Bauman and Associates Incorporated, nationwide healthcare consulting practice specializing in retained executive and physician assignments, outplacement services, and consulting engagements. BentleyGRP.com, The Bentley Group, a national healthcare recruitment firm with an online searchable jobs database. bmets-usa.com, Stevens International Recruiting Inc., healthcare recruiting firm providing BMETs, radiology technicians, and other management personnel nationwide. carltonprofessional.co.uk, Carlton Professional Recruitment, recruitment agency specialising in dental and veterinary placements in the United Kingdom. Cato.net, Cato International, medical recruiters specializing in nursing, optometrists, pharmacists, doctors and dental nurse candidates. ChekaExecutiveSearch.com, Cheka Executive Search, providing executive healthcare business services, consulting and employment. CelebrityMedical.com, Celebrity Medical Personnel, medical personnel company in the Washington metropolitan area with hiring tips, job searches and places to post a resume. ClinicalResearchJobs.co.uk, Clinical Research Jobs, United Kingdom-based specialist recruiters offer employment listings for clinical research jobs. ConsultingByGeorge.com, Consulting by George, experts in healthcare information technology consulting and recruiting. Custom-Credentialing-Services.com, Custom Credentialing Services Incorporated, a healthcare recruiting firm that verifies professional credentials of its applicants. dgilly.com, Gilly and Associates Incorporated, recruitment firm for the fields of sonography, radiology, nuclear medicine, and cardiology. evecrane.com, Eve Crane and Associates Incorporated, a national executive search firm specializing in executive healthcare positions in managed care organizations and other medical management systems. fpysearch.com, Foley Proctor Yaskowitz, a retained search firm for the healthcare industry placing doctors, nurses and healthcare administrators. ghcr.com, Global Healthcare Recruiters, a search firm for health information management careers. gidryeast.com, Gidry and East, an executive healthcare search firm providing assistance to hospitals and healthcare entities in search, recruiting and placement services. harperjobs.com, Harper Associates, healthcare recruiting firm for food and hospitality, medical office, and nursing positions. hccaintl.com, HCCA International, healthcare recruiter lists opportunities in the Middle East, the United States and Canada. hcrnetwork.com, Healthcare Recruiters International, healthcare recruitment firm specializing in the biotechnology, pharmaceutical, medical device, digital health and medical marketplace. Health-search.net, Health Search, a national healthcare executive search and recruitment firm. hemax.com, Hemax, an executive placement service for jobs in the healthcare industry. hpsplacement.com, hpsplacement.com, specializing in placing occupational, physical, and speech therapists and assistants to work in skilled nursing facilities throughout California. HuttonGroupPHC.com, the Hutton Group Incorporated, nationwide executive search and placement firm, specializing in the placement of healthcare professionals, managers, consultants, and administrators for hospitals, healthcare corporations, managed care organizations, consulting firms and vendors. hziegler.com, Helen Ziegler and Associates, specializes in the recruitment of healthcare professionals for hospitals in the countries of the Arabian Peninsula. ihrcanada.com, international hospital recruitments, overseas medical and healthcare jobs in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf area. intellectresources.com, Intellect Resources, resume and search listings for healthcare information management jobs, counseling, assessments, and information. intlmedicalplacement.com, International Medical Placement, Ltd., recruitment firm for physicians and nursing. jobsformed.com, Intelligent Placement Solutions Incorporated, physician recruiting and employment site for all specialties and mid-level providers. juliaedmonds.com, Julia Edmonds Associates, medical recruiter placing healthcare managers and professionals throughout the USA. lawlerandassociates.com, Lawler and Associates, a physician and healthcare executive recruiting firm to hospitals, health systems, and groups nationwide. LeeCalhoun.com, Lee Calhoun & Co., a retained executive search firm for all sectors of the healthcare industry. LighthouseRecruiting.com, Lighthouse Recruiting, LLC, full-service contingency recruitment firm focusing in the areas of medical recruitment and military transition nationwide. ManagementResources.us, Management Resources, executive search firm for managed care and healthcare industries. MartinFletcher.com, Martin Fletcher, nationwide medical recruitment for physicians, nurses, pharmacists, allied health and administration jobs. MedCRooters.us, MedCrooters, a medical placement services firm. Medliant.com, Medliant, international recruiting of doctors, nurses, pharmacists and therapists for US and the UK. MedTeamStaffing.com, MedTeam Staffing, nationwide employment opportunities for radiology, ultrasound, nuclear medicine, and related allied health careers. MillenniumCRH.com, Millennium MedSearch, physician and mid-level provider placement service provides a wide variety of practice settings and geographic locations throughout the United States. NatelStaffing.com, Noel and Associates, national recruitment firm for permanent and temporary placement of physicians, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants, dentists, hygienists, RDAs, DOS, dental management and receptionist. Navingrope.com, the Navin Group, provides recruitment services to the healthcare industry. OrionHealthcareRecruiters.ca, Orion Healthcare Recruiters, offers healthcare recruitment services for full-time and contract employees. OrionRecruitingGroup.com, the Orion Recruiting Group, specializes in permanent placement for the medical and healthcare industries. PDNSeek.com, Professional Dynamic Network, a management consulting, seminar and personnel recruitment business for healthcare industry. Pearls International Nursing Agency.com, Pearls International Nursing and Care Agency, places healthcare professionals in jobs in the United Kingdom and United States. PPASearch.com, Professional Placement Associates, Inc., a search firm specializing in healthcare recruitment for New York, CT, and New Jersey. PreferredRegistry.com, Preferred Healthcare, placement firm specializing in nurses, medical technicians and therapists. Pro-TechSearch.com, ProTechSearch Incorporated, specializes in the placement of healthcare and information technology professionals. ProgressusTherapy.com, Progresses, providers of physical, occupational, and speech therapists to school programs and medical centers. SciHealth.com, Premier Search Inc., placing medical professionals at the state, regional or individual facility levels, across the United States. ReflectTechStaffing.com, Reflex Staffing, offers temporary, permanent and traveling jobs for a variety of specialties. RehabAlliance.com, Rehab Alliance, recruits physical, speech and occupational therapists. RotmanGroup.com, the Rotman Group, Inc., a retained executive recruitment consulting within the healthcare services industry. SAInternational.us, SA International, recruits medical staff, nursing staff, allied health professionals, engineers, information technology from North America and Western Europe to go to Saudi Arabia and Gulf states. SearchlightRecruiters.com, Searchlight Recruiters Incorporated, an executive search firm specializing in health information technology jobs. Soliant.com, Soliant Health, staffs nursing and allied health professionals in facilities across the United States. SpringboardStaffing.com, Springboard Healthcare Staffing, and search services for healthcare professionals for radiology and nursing. StaffPoint.com, StaffPoint.com, a medical employment agency offering newsletters, job search capability and both retained and contingency searches. Stern-Associates.com, Stern & Associates, Inc., health information management and healthcare executive recruiters. TheRansomGroup.com, The Ransom Group, healthcare senior management search and recruitment firm. TravelPHP.com, premier healthcare professionals, places nurses, therapists and technicians in short and long-term assignments in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia. TrinityHSG.com, Trinity Healthcare Staffing Group, offers job opportunities to nurses, radiology technicians, allied health professionals per diem shifts and contracts for local and travel employment. UniHCR.com, United Nursing International, recruiting and placement of nursing and other healthcare personnel, domestic and international opportunities. www.medical.com, worldwide medical services, recruiting physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, certified nurse midwives, registered nurses, nurses and nurse managers for employment in the healthcare industry. YorkExecutiveSearch.org, York and Associates, a national search firm catering to the financial and healthcare industries. ZMC2.com, Z equals MC superscript 2, a boutique executive search firm specializing in the areas of medical careers, healthcare jobs and hospital employment. Staffing websites too. ADEXMedicalStaffing.com, ADEX Medical Staffing, LLC, job placement for per diem and long-term projects. Advanced-medical.net, Advanced Medical Personnel Services, healthcare staffing firm specializing in the recruitment and placement of physical, occupational, and speech therapists in supplemental as well as permanent positions in hospitals and skilled nursing facilities. AdvancedPracticeSolutions.com, Advanced Practice Solutions PA, staffing solutions for nurse practitioners and physician assistants. AdvanceMed.org, AdvanceMed, LLC, professional staffing firm providing qualified healthcare professionals to hospitals and clinics on a nationwide basis. HCR.net, American Healthcare Recruiting, a healthcare staffing company located in California. AlbionHealthcare.com, Albion Healthcare Staffing Solutions, recruits candidates for healthcare in professional, administrative, and clinical positions on a temporary, temp-to-hire or direct hire basis. AllaboutStaffing.com, All About Staffing, providing temporary healthcare staffing serving healthcare facilities in South and Central Florida. AlliedHealthPro.com, Allied Health Professionals, healthcare staffing company providing jobs for occupational, physical, and speech therapists and providing therapists for hospitals, schools, rehabilitation centers. AmericanTraveler.com, American Traveler, temporary allied staffing for physical, respiratory, occupational, and speech therapy. AMNHealthcare.com, AMN Healthcare, a space provider of opportunities for nurses, physicians and therapists. AngelStaffing.net, Angel Staffing Incorporated, provides and employs quality RNs, LVNs, RTs as well as other healthcare staffing solutions with permanent and per diem positions in the South Central Texas region. ATCHealthcare.com, ATC Healthcare Services, staffing for healthcare facilities, providing registered nurses, CNAs, LPNs, LVNs, pharmacists and other healthcare professionals. BowlesandCompany.com, Bowles & Company, provides permanent placement recruiting services for HR, medical, executive and management professionals in most medical fields in Texas and nationwide. Brightna.com, Brightna.com, providing permanent and locum tenens placement. Carriant.com, Carriant Health Partners, places health professionals in travel nurse, physical therapy and occupational therapy jobs across the United States. CarlaParada.com, Carla Parada, staffing firm for temporary and medical staffing services and as a consultant to the industry. CascadeStaff.com, Cascade Health Services, staffing firm serving the Kansas and Missouri area for nursing and allied health professionals. ChicagoMedicalRecruiters.com, Chicago Medical Recruiters, a search firm specializing in the placement of medical and healthcare professionals in the Chicago area. CirrusMedicalStaffing.com, Cirrus Medical Staffing, offers traveling positions for health professionals throughout the United States. ClubStaffing.com, Club Staffing Incorporated, offering staff private housing, work bonuses, and a rewards program. CNStaffing.com, CN Staffing, CN Staffing supports the entire healthcare industry with staffing solutions for medical, administrative, and insurance personnel for temporary, temp to full-time, and direct hire positions. DakotaMedTemps.com, Dakota MedTemps Incorporated, provides staffing services for pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, nurses and allied health practitioners. DDSStaffing.com, DDS Staffing Resources, Inc., Georgia's employment resource for dental and medical professionals. DHCStaffing.com, Destination Healthcare Staffing, provides travel assignments for physical and occupational therapists through our personalized services. Durham.com, The Durham Companies Incorporated, a human resources staffing provider emphasizing temporary staffing, permanent placement, physician recruiting, facilities management, executive/technical placement and medical executive placement. EmeraldHS.com, Emerald Health Services, provides superior medical staffing services to hospitals and outpatient clinics on a nationwide basis. FidelityOnCall.com, Fidelity On Call, temporary and contract medical staffing specialists that hire and supply nurses, RNs, CNAs, LPNs and other quality healthcare professionals. FirstResponseStaffing.com, First Response Healthcare Staffing, offers permanent and locum-tenens staffing services for healthcare professionals. GHResources.com, General Healthcare Resources Incorporated, temporary and permanent healthcare staffing agency for allied health, nursing and pharmacy staff. HCINnov.com, Healthcare Innovations, offers per diem and short-term contract nursing and surgical tech positions throughout Michigan. Healthcore.com, Healthcore, LLC, places nurses, respiratory therapists and nursing assistants in temporary and traveling positions. HealthProSearch.com, HealthPro Placement Service, a professional recruitment service staffing medical and dental offices with both temporary and permanent placements. HealthStaff.org, Worldwide Health Staff Associates Limited, international recruitment of nurses, pharmacists, physical and occupational therapists for opportunities in the US and Canada. InterHealthCanada.com, InterHealth Canada Recruitment, an international company providing healthcare operations, management, recruitment, consulting and related healthcare and hospital services. InterimPhysicians.com, Interim Healthcare, a home care and staffing company providing temporary and permanent physicians, nurses, therapists, technicians, companions and home health aides. Interstaffing.com, Interstaff, Inc., an international full-service staffing company specializing in the healthcare fields, specifically nursing and therapy. Interstafftravelers.com, Interstaff Travelers Agency, traveling therapy company staffing healthcare personnel, facilities, RN nurses, company travel assignments and physical therapists. JASNEEC.com, JASNEEC Medical Staffing, medical temporary and permanent staffing and consulting. LeadersForToday.com, Leaders for Today, specializes in placing skilled executives on an interim basis with healthcare organizations. LeadersStat.com, LeadersStat, LLC, providers of management resources and executive search services to the long-term care profession. LOCUMTenensusa.com, Locum Tenens USA, temporary placement for physicians, nurses and healthcare professionals. MaximHealthcare.com, Maxim, specializing in medical staffing, nurse employment, home care, clinical staffing and wellness services. MCR4Jobs.com, Managed Care Resources, a healthcare placement agency for permanent and temporary staffing. Med-Solutions.net, Medical Solutions, a medical staffing service showing lists of our current job openings and locations. MedcareRelief.tripod.com, Medcare Relief, provides temporary staffing of traveling physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech-language pathologists, for schools, hospitals and skilled nursing facilities. MedcareStaff.com, Medcare Staff, staffing and outsourcing for healthcare companies across Canada. Medical-Resources LLC.com, medical resources, LLC - nationwide healthcare staffing company. medicalcontracting.com, Medical Contracting Service Incorporated, specializes in contract placement of medical professionals. MediQuestStaffing.net, MediQuest Staffing, a nursing staffing and home care offering solutions in the Lancaster, PA area. Mediscan.net, Mediscan Staffing Services, staffing for allied health professionals, respiratory, surgical technologists and nurses. MedNationalStaffing.com, MedNational Staffing Solutions Incorporated, staffing for registered nurses, nurse anesthetists, radiologists, respiratory therapists and home health care providers. MedProStaffing.com, MedPro Staffing, staffing for medical clerical personnel, nurses and imaging specialists, hospital financial managers and physician's assistants. MedResourcesStaffing.com, medical resources staffing services, temporary and full-time placement firm for the medical and dental fields. MedStaffAlternatives.com, MedStaff Alternatives Incorporated, healthcare staffing company for nurses and other medical professionals for travel and local contract work. MedStaffer.com, Medical Staffing Associates Incorporated, provides staffing services to hospitals, group practices, and healthcare corporations nationwide. MedTalents.com, MedTalents, Inc., a recruiting and staffing agency providing its services to clients and professionals within the healthcare industry. PowerPersonnel.com, Power Personnel, specializing in professional medical and healthcare staffing and employment placement including temporary, permanent, and traveling nurses, LPNs and LVNs. PrimeHCS.com, Prime Healthcare Staffing, travel and temporary staffing of physical and occupational therapists, speech-language pathologists and assistants to rehabilitation providers across the U.S. Offers some details of current opportunities. PRNIAssociates.com, PRNI Associates, an optometric practitioners relief network, created by optometrists, for optometrists. PromptPersonnel.com, Prompt Personnel Services, a New York and Florida-based medical staffing agency. ReadyLinkHealthcare.net, ReadyLink Healthcare, staffing service for nurses and healthcare professionals. RenalReserve.com, Renal Reserve Dialysis Staffing, travel kidney dialysis center jobs for dialysis nurses, renal dietitians, patient care techs and social workers in Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. RPIGroup.ca, RPI Consulting Group Incorporated, staffing firm specializes in placing pharmacists and other healthcare professionals in relief, part-time and full-time roles. SAS-Ltd.com, Sycamore Anesthesia Services, Limited, a CRNA and anesthesiology staffing agency. SpaStaff.com, SpaStaff.com, recruitment specialists working exclusively for spas and therapists. StaffingMedical.com, Staffing Medical, allied healthcare staffing agency that places qualified professionals with reputable medical facilities. Star-1.com, Star One Staffing, healthcare staffing firm for temporary to permanent and per diem. Sunbeltstaffing.com, Sunbelt Staffing Solutions, places specialty nurses, therapists and surgical technicians in traveling positions. Surgicalstaffing.net, Surgical Staff, Inc., offers temporary medical staffing solutions for the surgical suite, radiology central processing and intensive care units. TaxStaff.com, Tax Staffing, medical staffing service assisting the placement of allied healthcare personnel. TDPN.org, Texas Dental Placement Network, an association of independently owned and operated personnel agencies dedicated to providing quality temporary and permanent employees to the dental profession. Teamstaff.com, Teamstaff, Inc., provides human resource management services including temporary and permanent placement services. TherapyStaff.com, Therapy Staff Inc., staff licensed physical, occupational, and speech therapists in hospitals, nursing homes and outpatient clinics. TravelNurses.com, supplemental healthcare, travel, and permanent jobs for nursing, radiology technologists and surgical technologists. TravelPHP.com, premier healthcare professionals, places nurses, therapists and technicians in short and long-term assignments in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia. TriageStaff.com, Triage Staffing, a healthcare staffing company, allocating healthcare professionals to facilities nationwide. Trustaff.com, Trustaff, supplying temporary and permanent healthcare workers across the United States. TXSource.net, Therapy Source Incorporated, provider of contracted speech language, occupational and physical therapists for educational and healthcare organizations in southeastern Pennsylvania. UnitedAnesthesia.com, United Anesthesia Associates, nationwide CRNA staffing agency offering locum tenens temporary employment assignments and permanent job placements to individuals and hospitals. VHCSystems.com, Valley Healthcare Systems, Inc., staffing firm providing both permanent and traveling healthcare opportunities throughout North America. WhitakerMedical.com, Whitaker Medical, a healthcare staffing firm for permanent and locum tenens healthcare professionals and facilities across the nation. YoHealthcare.com, Yo Healthcare, provider of technology staffing services to the occupational healthcare industry.